It's the wrong way. Yo, what up? Bomb Squad, welcome. On a Thursday. Sure, we got everything right. Yo. Yeah, the draft going on. And we got the Bomb Squad popping, all right? Get the drink going. Everything looks okay. Let's see. Yo, what up, peeps? What up? Bomb Squad in the building. All right, on a Thursday, when you come in, hit that like button, send us a wave, let us know you're here, and we're going to get it popping, all right? Y'all see the title. Today, we're going to talk about the job postings on UPS Jobs. And so on a previous live stream weeks ago, I mentioned to you guys that on Wednesday nights is when the postings get posted. And so that's the best time to get the most postings is pretty much when they put them up is on Wednesday nights. And so I'm scrolling early this week. And yesterday, I was like, what's up with all these postings? And so I was like, okay, so now we have to change some things up. So now we're going to have to do a Wednesday show, and it's going to be strictly about the job posting. So it seems like Wednesday is a real thing. They all pile up there on Wednesday. So we're going to start doing a Wednesday show. It's going to be about the postings, but I looked at it again today. It's a lot less, but yesterday it was crazy. But we're going to go over that. Thanks for joining the show. We're going to go ahead and get started. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. If you like the content, hit us a like and share it if you can. All right. How you guys doing? Everybody good? Everybody good. All right. Let's get it cracking. Breakdown Media, we up. And we are live.
Breakdown Meeting.
We live.
Breakdown Meeting.
Yo, what's happening, Bomb Squad? It's a pleasure to be in front of you guys on a Thursday night. We're going to talk about a couple things, but mainly we're going to talk about these job postings. I don't know if y'all seen it or not, but these job postings are going crazy. We touched on it last week for a little bit, but today we're gonna dive a little deeper and see what's going on. Marcus Smith, I see you. What's up, Marcus Smith? How you living? You still getting those 12.5-hour days? Let me know. Let me know. I saw the light. You always support. We appreciate it. Amen, Scout Dad. You watching the draft? I got the alerts on my phone. We seen what's going on with the draft. So thank you all for being here, and thank you for the likes. I have a question. Before we get started with the show, I have a question. We all have a purpose in life. So I'm just asking today, if you just let us know in the chat, what is your purpose? You got to have a purpose. What is your purpose in life? Your day-to-day, your overall look, your family, your life in general. Like, what is your purpose? Because you have to have one. And if you don't have one, I encourage that you find one. You could talk to yourself, figure some things out. What are you good at? You know, what are you not good at? You know, sometimes knowing what you're not good at, it might be a part of your purpose in maybe getting better at the things that you're not good at. But I want everybody here, if you haven't found what your purpose is in life, please make a conscious effort in 2025 to find what your purpose is. And even if you don't find out what it is, maybe get a little closer to what it is or what it might be. All right. So, like, I challenge everybody to figure it out because we all going through a figuring out phase, right? And I always show my cup. It's my favorite cup. Enjoy the journey, but just figure out what your purpose is and push through, find it and execute. All right. Let me know. All right. Tyrone W. They just put a vacation cover driver up in my hub. Yeah, man. These vacations about to start ramping up, and so that's why we're seeing a lot of people inside. It's gonna be driving. We also see a lot of seasonal driver postings going up on the website. So it's that time of year. It's getting the late spring, early summer. People taking vacations. In my center, they allow 6 drivers per week in the summertime to take a vacation. So you have to pile up on the people that's going to call in and the people that's out on injury and stuff like that. So there's a lot of extra people going to be needed. A lot of extra going to be people going to be needed. All right. Okay, Marcus Smith. I didn't see that at first. You got fired today? Well, they're not going to put a posting up because you got fired. Man, what happened? Let us know what happened. Man, you was hitting them hours though. Let us know, man. Let us know. And I mean, I'm sure you'll be back, right? So hopefully it was something where you can come back from. Let us know, Marcus. Now, something I wanted to hear. I just seen that actually. Let me move this a little closer so I can see what's going on in the chat. Yeah, but let us know, Marcus Smith, man. What happened? All right. Okay, so does volume go open for the summer? Yeah, so Batman, thanks for joining the show. Yeah, so in the summer, volume can go up, but it's not necessarily going to go up. But people start taking vacations. Most people vacations they like taking them in the summertime, and plus, attrition. Um, Here in the South, it gets really, really hot, and so people just need a break in the summer sometimes. Well, a lot of people schedule vacation, and two, a lot of people take off in the summer, and so you need people to cover those routes, and so. Some parts of the country they open up seasonal spots, and other parts of the country they just kind of bring up whatever people they have in the warehouse that can drive or TCDs to drive and stuff like that. So yeah, volume may or may not go up, but you need extra driver support in the summertime. Hopefully that answers your question. It say volume is ridiculous in NYC. Our preload's been struggling. They have been struggling, and I talked with one of the managers today, and they said that our preload may have too many people. But I don't understand because I'm seeing them struggling 3 times out of the week and they have too many people. That's a problem. So they said they have too many people, but I'm not sure if that's right. But yeah, they've been struggling for the past couple of weeks in my building. So I don't know what's going on. But volume is up slightly, but preload has been struggling. They're not hiring right now. They say they have too many people. So any job postings or preload in my building probably won't be happening. However, one of the managers told me that our hub is hiring. So I haven't seen any postings yet. I emailed HR to see what's going on because I have some people that's trying to get in the hub in my facility. But we're gonna go over these job postings, the ones that's posted. We can't speak for the ones that haven't posted yet. All right. But yeah, damn, 12-hour days, man, they're still getting those. I know the guy next to me, I know he's getting a 12-hour day today because they took one of my neighborhoods off. He's probably gonna watch this video. They took one of my neighborhoods off and gave it to him for today. I mean, I was I wasn't light, but he's gonna be out there. I know he's still out there right now. Asked me if I wanted to take it back. I said, nah, I gotta get home and get on the live stream. I can't do my neighborhood. I gotta go on the live stream. So, you know, hey, shouts out to him. I'm not gonna call your name. You know who you are. Marcus Smith said went to Lowe's, delivered a package, and I didn't see the receiving guy, so I just commercial inside released, put his name, and he lost the package. They said I was dishonest. Yeah, that's a tough one, but you'll come back. That's a tough one, but you'll come back. So somebody must have made a big stink about it. Well, they lost the package, so that's probably why it ended up being a big deal. But you know, that's not the worst thing in the world. So let me ask you this, Marcus Smith. I'm assuming that you already had other write ups, or did you have any other outstanding in like the past 9 months? Let me know. I'm just curious. Thanks everybody for the likes. We appreciate it. But before we talk about the job postings, I want to share this video. I'm not sure if y'all heard about the DHL shipments that's coming from overseas over into the United States with values over $800. They shutting them down. Well, not business to business, but business overseas over to like a personal or a small business here in the United States. Play a video right quick. Oh, it's your first one? Oh man, yeah, you should be back. You'll be back, man. Don't worry about it. You know, just yeah, sometimes, people get fired. I mean, it's like unless it's something really egregious like theft or, you know, a physical altercation or a huge deal with like a customer, like a huge issue with a customer. I'm talking about bad stuff is the only times I see people walked out, but you'll be fine. You'll be back. You probably get like a week or two off and then you'll be back. But I'm gonna tell you one thing, Marcus Smith. I'll tell you one thing. Bomb squad not gonna fire you. So you good over here, big dog. You know what I'm saying? You good over here. You good over here. Trust me. We appreciate all the support. We definitely do. All right, let's see. Let's play the video right quick. DHL with the whole shipments from overseas. This has nothing to do with tariffs, but it has a little bit to do with customs. All right, let me play this video right quick.
Global shipping giant DHL has announced a temporary suspension of shipments from businesses to individuals in the U.S. for parcels valued over $800. The suspension is due to significant delays in U.S. customs clearance. The change comes after recent updates to U.S. customs regulations, which now require formal entry processing for shipments exceeding $800 threshold. These adjustments have caused a backlog, a multi-day transit delays reported for affected parcels. DHL stated that business-to-business shipments are not affected by the suspension, although they may also face delays due to the increased volume of customs clearances.
Okay, so they understand the business-to-business transactions is where the money is, which we get that. So, but if you're not a business, you're receiving shipments from overseas that's valued over 800, they pretty much done stopped it because the customs has a huge backlog and they're behind. They're getting their asses kicked and they feel like, okay, if we can stop those shipments or say, hey, they're not allowed, then we could kind of clear up the backlog, but it's still bad. Now that limit used to be 2,500. Now it's 800. So yeah, let's keep going.
The U.S. government had lowered the customs threshold for individual shipments to $800 from $2,500 as part of broader exchanges aimed at addressing trade imbalances. This new regulation has forced businesses to navigate more stringent customs processes. Now, this leads to a surge in formal entries, which U.S. Customs is struggling to process in a timely manner. As a result, global shipping companies, including DHL, are seeing significant delays in deliveries to the U.S. This shift also impacts small businesses and consumers who now face lower and more costly shipping options for parcels exceeding $800. The policy change is part of broader trade actions under President Donald Trump's administration targeting countries like China.
Okay, so I'm not sure if you have a shipment and DHL say like, hey, look, you can't ship it through our company because you're not business to business and the value is over $800. If they can go to another carrier and say, hey, look, I need to ship, so it could be potentially a point where DHL loses that business temporarily until they release the limits. But it might be some opportunities where other companies could get in there and get those customers and make some money. I'm not sure if they use the same area of customs and stuff like that, but it opens up opportunity for competition to get some more customers because it's all about, like we talked about last week, it's all about market share. Everybody's gonna be fighting for market share. And this is just a little story I want to share with you guys before we get into the meat and potatoes. um, it's always, man, companies always gonna try to leg up the other one, and it's always gonna be a competition. It's never gonna stop. Never gonna stop. All right. Yeah, Marcus Smith, you be back, man. He said if he get his job back, he definitely will follow every single rule. That was the worst feeling coming home, telling my wife, yeah, man, like you'll be fine, man. I'm pretty sure you'll be fine. Yeah, everything, and like I talked about this before, like everything is a life experience. Everything. Like you don't look and you trip over a rock. Like something that small is a freaking life experience. Hey, I need to probably look down before I try to walk next time. Stuff like that. It could be anything really. But yeah, you'll learn from this. You'll be back. I'm pretty sure you'll be back. And with that commercial inside release, look, we do it all the time. And it's not normal that a customer loses a package and then it ended up being blown up and they figure out like, oh, well, the driver did a CIR and the person wasn't there. And oh yeah, by the way, we lost the package. So all of those things happen at the same time. But let me tell you, what I do, I mean, it's a whole bunch of times where I have an agreement with my customers, and if they're not present, like we have a spot where I leave the packages, and if I know a certain person is working, they might be in the break room, or they might be in the restroom, or they might be, in a different part of the office or the warehouse or whatever. Their name will get put in, and I'm not going to track anybody down. Like, we have that agreement, and that's how it's going to go down. So, stuff like this happens all the time. It's just that so happened this time, you know, they lost the package and now it looks bad. But you'll be fine and you'll be back. Um, yeah. I would share another story, but I'm not gonna share that story. But shouts out to you, Marcus Smith. You'll be fine. Just learn from it, and we all be good. We all be good. Yeah, like all of those things happen at the same time. That's what made it a bad situation. If one of those things didn't happen, you'd be fine. You wouldn't be fired. But it's kind of crazy how things happen sometimes. But look, I know people that done came back from worse stuff, a lot worse stuff. You'll be okay. Look, at least it's not peak season. At least it's not peak season. Because one of my old bosses, they will keep people out. If something like this happened during peak season, they will keep them out like until January. Yeah. So, you know, thank God you ain't you're not under my old boss because they would keep you out. If this happened November 11th, you know, yeah, they be like, you will see in January. Cold blooded, but hey, that's what they do. Certain ones, not all of them, Just imagine some good members of management, but it's some of them. It's just like with anybody. I mean, there's some drivers that are suspect, but it's some of them that are really good, and some of them, you scratch your head, you're just like, ugh. I don't know about you, but all right. So look, let me pull this up right quick. Let me show y'all. Let me show y'all what's happening. I got on this. Let's see. I was just on this last night. All right, let me share my screen. All right. I was just on this last night. And y'all see the warehouse working package handler. That number was close to 80. And the package delivery driver, that number was in the hundreds. It was like 130 something. It might have been over 80. So, we talked about this weeks ago, how Wednesday is the ideal day. If you're looking for postings, get on there on Wednesday. And now we're starting to see, like, just yesterday, it's like those two numbers are chopped in half as far as the warehouse and the driver positions. And like we did say in the past, like, well, when, let me see. Let's get this on my screen here. Once they fill the ones they want to fill or get enough candidates for the ones they want to fill, they get them out of there. And so we see this less than 24 hours after it was 100 and something postings, it's 65. And so we'll start with these inside positions first. Let's start with these first. So if you're in Texas, there's none in Texas. I already checked. But everywhere else, it's everywhere. Not many in the South. A lot of East Coast, Midwest. But like I said, this was 9 pages. It's down to 3 pages now. This was 9 pages just last night. And so if y'all see any of these postings or y'all know somebody, this is probably the leftovers. I hate to say leftovers, but last night it was crazy. Well, not even last night. It was like yesterday afternoon. This website was very, very busy. Very busy. Let's go over to the driver jobs. And most of those driver positions, now they had a lot of cover drivers, but a lot of them still are seasonal. Like we talked about last week, they just need coverage. They need people to cover for vacations. You see in my area, like we don't hire seasonal this time of year, but it's a lot of areas as you can see around the country. At this time of year, people start taking more vacations. They hire more seasonal to make coverage. Like we have enough TCDs and we have enough um people who unassigned just to cover driver. I mean, just to cover routes. We have enough people already, so we don't need to hire seasonal. But you see, these are mostly seasonal. These are 6 pages. We actually about to move some routes to a new facility. You know, not far from where my facility is. It's a brand new building. It just built within 2 years. Or just finished 2 years ago, and a lot of routes gonna be moving around. So some routes leaving my building, going to the new building, and some I don't think any routes are coming, but some of the routes in my building is gonna be moved to different centers. But yeah, it's gonna be like musical chairs come September of 25. A lot of moving around, a lot of moving parts. And so over the past few weeks, we've been covering buildings closing or buildings getting shut down for renovations. Buildings are closing altogether. But a lot of the ones that are closing, like we talked about before, are like smaller facilities. Not all of them, but most of them we see are smaller facilities, maybe extended buildings, or like maybe like a facility in a small town that's going to cover several towns. But yeah, those big metro buildings, like they getting remodeled, they getting pushed towards automation, and that's mostly what's happening to the big buildings. There's still a lot of growth, but it's a little flat. But you see a whole bunch of consolidation. Okay, so these are cover drivers. It's like a whole page of cover drivers. Well, half a page. Okay, they start to stop the seasonal. E6 right here, cover drivers, TCDs, permanent positions. I see a lot of Pennsylvania, a lot of Philadelphia. So anybody in the Philadelphia area, man, they got cover driver galore positions. And all of those are for the same location. Well, three for one location, one for another location. Let's see. Somebody said, let me try to get to it. Hold on. Yo, what's up, Jude? What's happening? Ghost Rider, I see you. Batman, good to see you, brother. I'm doing good. I think everybody else doing good too, Jude. I think everybody else good too. All right, so Ghost Rider say, why don't they put a bid up for the hub and take people from inside to do seasonal driver? I can't even find my bed sheet in my hub. Yeah, that's a good question because it's the same. Because if people inside already, well, maybe they do. Oh, yeah. If you don't see a bid sheet, so does your building have one of these postings up here? Maybe they did put a bid up and they didn't have enough people sign it or qualified, and so they had to put up a job posting. Maybe. All right, so Ghost Rider, do you see your building on any one of these job postings? I'm just wondering. Well, in that case, they might have enough drivers to cover it. And if you don't see it, they may have enough to cover through TCDs and just people that's unassigned. That's probably what the case is. That's how it is in my building. Okay, so did they put it up and then they took it down? Oh, it was a week ago. Yeah, well, if they didn't get enough, it'll be back up. It'll be back up. They probably got enough, and that's probably why they took it down or it reached the time threshold. But they'll go through the list, and if they need a certain amount of people, they'll get them. If say they need 20 and only 15 people, or let's say they need 20 and 30 people is on a bid sheet and only 15 people qualify, they have to put it back up to get 5 more people, or at least 8 more people, because realistically, if you need 10 drivers, you probably need to hire 18, you know, because 8 won't make it, 9 won't make it, 10 won't make it. You know what I mean? So if you need 5, you probably should hire 12. Just because that's just the way it is. So it'll be back up. If they don't have enough, it'll be back up. So I had a question on, well, 2 questions. Okay. I had 2 questions here in the past few weeks. One, let's see which one I want to hit first. All right, so the first one, well, it was actually more than one person. It's like, well, they got laid off in a certain facility, and they were asking, like, hey, it's been already a month, you know, should I hang in there or should I quit? I'm like, well, I never tell people to quit. I'll never give that type of advice because I don't really believe in quitting. Um, at least 3 people asked me, like, hey, I've been off 3 weeks, a month, 2 months. Should I quit? I'm like, well, you probably asked the right person because I'm gonna tell you, don't quit. Hang in there, try to hang in there, and I mean, the worst thing you could do is quit. And someone hit me up maybe yesterday or the day before. It was definitely this week, and it was like, hey, look, I've been off, I want to say 2 months on layoff, and they called him back. Now I can't remember if that person was one of the 3 people. Might have been, but they were laid off for 2 months and they got called back this week. So, shouts out to them for not quitting. Hopefully the other people didn't quit. Um, yeah, I don't like quitting. No. I don't like the white flag. I'm probably like the worst person to wave the white flag. I don't want to wave it. Even if I think I should, I'm still like holding on, like, nah. So I'm probably like the best and the worst person to ask because I'm gonna tell you don't quit. Nah. And the other question that was rather interesting, right? Basically, a person asks, like, okay, well, they an outsider, but they don't want to work inside in order to drive. It's like, well, I know somebody that got hired off the street and they were able to go and drive. This person said, I'd rather wait to get hired off the street or until they want somebody off the street than to go inside and work inside so I can drive. And I'm like, you asking the right person, because I'm going to tell you what you should do. And of course, you do what you want to do. But I'm like, I would not wait to get hired off the street. I wouldn't. And I wouldn't advise anybody to do so, because there were spots that were open inside where they could just like, boom, it's like open. Take it. But they don't want to work inside. And I'm like, when you work inside, whether you loading or unloading trailers, even doing car wash, filling up trucks and stuff like that, or loading trucks, unloading trucks, like, it gets you ready, not ready to drive, but it definitely gives you some level of preparation for one day if you become a driver one day. So I'm pretty stern when it comes to that. Like, look, go work inside. You saw my videos. Look, go work inside. Like, the pay is not bad. Yeah, the work could get a little tough sometimes, but driving is worse, you know? And if you just want to do the math, like driving is basically you basically unloading a truck. Let's say you have 250 pieces. You basically unloading a truck, but it's not just unloading a truck, but you got to drop everything off at the right place. You're dealing with all the other elements. You're dealing with traffic, weather conditions, people, bad drivers, equipment failure, technology failure. You're dealing with everything. Distractions, dogs, pissed off customers. You're dealing with everything else. Oh yeah, by the way, you have to drop everything off at the right place. And so it's easy, like once you get the hang of it, but it's not. You basically unloading a truck, but you have all these other factors. So somebody's like, oh yeah, I don't have to work inside. I could just go and drive. I mean, yeah, you can. You can do whatever you want. But I wouldn't be waiting for an off the street hire to open up or for them to. And this person, shouts out to them. They was like, well, I know the supervisor told me he'll let me know when they're ready to hire off the street. I'm like, you gonna trust that? I wouldn't trust it. I'm not believing no supervisor telling me, hey man, hold on. We're gonna call you. Nope. They try to convince me to stand. Nope. Take that drive. I mean, take that inside position. It's open. I don't understand why you don't take it if it's open. Like just go take it. Because at least you get in line. You go work inside, you get in line. It's just a safer bet. I'm not about to trust James Roberts. I'm not about to trust Supervisor James Roberts, and it's not a real person. I'm just making up a name. I'm not about to trust that he gonna call me because guess what? He might get moved next week, or he might get moved next month. Oh, hey man, can I speak to James? Nah, he don't work here anymore. Like they moved him to another building. Oh, hey, oh, he got fired. Oh man, well he told me. Well, I'm sorry. He told you something that I can't do. Oh man. And before you know it, you done lost 3, 4, 5 months because James told you. James gave you a promise and a dream. Like, yeah, man, we gonna call you. Just wait, we gonna call you, man. Look, I'm not trusting it. Go work inside and get your ass in line. That's what I say. But they didn't like it, and it's cool. But you asked me, and I told you. Look, man, one thing about this channel, y'all. I'm gonna just tell you the real. One thing about this channel, I'm gonna tell you what it is because I mean anybody could, stand up here and sugarcoat stuff and make you feel good and all of that stuff. That's not what we do over here. If y'all asking for A, and I'm gonna give you the answer to A in the rawest form possible. And because like I don't want you coming back on me saying, oh man, you misguided me, man. Man, this is what happened. You might not like it, but I'm just tell you what it is. You might thank me later, then again, you might not. But, you know, I've seen a lot in don't waste your time trying to get hired off the street. Mm-mm. Then if you get hired off the street, hold on. Then if you get hired off the street, they gonna start you at I don't know. It was, I don't know what it is now. They're gonna start you at that bottom pay. Like when I started as a TCD pay was 28.75, which was 85% of top pay at the time. And there's people next to me that got hired off the street, and they started them at 18.75 an hour driving. So like they were automatically full time. Um, and I was considered part time. I actually worked more than they did because I knew more routes. And I'm not saying this happens all the time, but it's happened to me. And it was a slow progression for them. They were full time, but they went 18.75 at start, and then maybe 19.50 and 20.75 and 24. So it was a slow progression. But in 4 years, yeah, they were at top pay. But in the meantime, like I was making over $30 an hour, like my second year. And so, I was driving a lot too. So I'm not saying, look, if you're trying to wait for off the street hire, I wouldn't do it. I'll get inside, get paid what 21, get your benefits, and do your thing. You get in line, you work your way up. Like it's not a fast track, because you know what? Management has this term called fast track. If you wanna become a supervisor, if you wanna eventually get to be like a division manager, center manager, or you wanna move up in the management ranks, they got this thing called fast track. And in my supervising here, y'all know what I'm talking about. But when it comes to this, you trying to drive, there's no fast track. Like you might get lucky and get in quick, but there's no fast track. There's no such thing. And so you could think you're gonna outsmart the system. It's not gonna happen. Go work inside. It's good for you too, because you learn a lot. Loading trucks, you learn a lot. Unloading trailers, you learn a lot. Because most people don't know how to move, period. Like you learn how to move, position yourself in tight spots, moving packages around efficiently. Like you learn a lot of stuff that will help you once you're able to drive. I'm just saying. All right. See what's going on in the chat. Shouts out to Jude. Jude says the union makes sure of that too, because they feel the members deserve that position before someone off the street. Facts. It's a whole fact. That's one of the reasons why the union is there. I mean, look, I'm not trying to come off the street. And I mean, I don't have to. But like you're gonna try to come off the street and you got people in line already. Yeah, I know there's a ratio of that's not always followed either. That's not always followed. There's a ratio like, okay, these many people to this amount of people off the street. Man, they don't follow that. If you got all these people trying to drive, they're not gonna just drag you in there. I've seen it not followed. Trust me. So yeah, good point, Jude. That's a good point. Yeah, I saw the light. Yeah, the benefits are just as good inside. Man, the benefits are better. Look, the benefits are better inside. They are better. And I'm gonna tell you why. I told this to y'all before. I was considered part-time cover driver. I picked up a $500,000 life insurance policy, and I was paying like $2 a week. UPS paid the rest. I was paying $2 a week, so basically $8 a month for 500,000 in life insurance. As soon as I got promoted to full time, boop, dropped me, because it's like, oh well, yeah, you full time now. You could pay for your own life insurance. So it's something that's offered to the part timers and not the full timers. And then everything else, the health coverage, the vision, the dental, that's all the same. I mean, At least in my area, it is. So I'm sure it's like that everywhere. It should be. But man, don't get that $1 million coverage for like $15 a month. I'm just saying, like, we don't want anything to happen to you, but most of us have families that need, to be protected if God forbid something was to happen to us. But yeah, man, my heart was, man, my feelings were hurt when it was like, oh nah. I'm like, what happened to my coverage? Like, oh well, you full time now. You could pay for your own. And I didn't even get a quote to see how much it was. But yeah, that was crazy. But I mean, I have the coverage now, but I'm paying for it myself. But man, that $8 a month, that was crazy. So I mean, I can argue that the benefits are better just from the life insurance stuff that I experienced. Do you get to choose what job you do inside or wherever they need bodies? Um, yeah, so that's the thing. Inside, it's like wherever they need people at. Um, if you apply for a certain, yeah, like they'll let you know, like, hey, look, we need people on the preload, or a lot of times in a job posting, it'll tell you. In fact, let me see if it tells you right here. Let me open up this one. Okay, it says part time. Okay, so this is a TCD, but let's see if they'll tell you what inside shift. It's definitely Tuesday through Saturday. Definitely. I'm not sure if they're doing many Monday through Fridays, but okay, so let's exit out of that. Let's see if let's look at the part time. Okay, so let's look at the part time. Let's see if they'll tell you. All right, Glenwood Springs, Colorado. Mm, 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 mm. They have quick apply. Yeah, so they don't really tell you. Base pay $21. Yeah, they don't tell you a sort, but probably when you do the little filling out the application and stuff, they probably tell you, hey, pick from this, or hey, this is all we have. you you know, uh, but in my building, preload is probably like the hardest to keep people, just because it's early in the morning and a lot of people like to get up early. you know, so yeah. What's up, Christian? You say I'm 9 months in, working preload. He said he worked at UPS preload, then he a FedEx driver, also grinding both jobs. I'm hoping to become a UPS driver soon as I could leave FedEx. Yeah, man. Look, shouts out to you. So you working FedEx ground? You working for a contractor? Yeah. So there's a guy. There's a FedEx driver on in my area, in my route area. He was gone for a while. I didn't see him. It was like two other drivers replaced him, and he came back, and then he's like, "Oh yeah, man, I had to come back." He said he tried to apply with UPS, but there wasn't any openings. I'm like, nah. But I mean, he didn't ask me, so I didn't know he was even trying to be a driver. So like, I just know he left, and then it was two other guys replaced him, and then he came back like maybe like a year later. But so he's back at FedEx. Yeah, yard crew is a good job. Yeah, if I was to have to choose between preload and a yard shifter, or even um like car wash, like filling the trucks up. I think that's a cool job. All right, Mike said he was hired out the street. Shouts out to you, Mike. Shouts out to you. I mean, of course, it's possible, but if I'm gonna give advice, I'm not gonna tell somebody wait for that. You know what I mean? Like I would tell them like, it can happen, but I wouldn't put all my ducks on that. I would say go work inside. You have a better shot. Better shot. It's more, and then it's not guaranteed, but it's a better shot. If you just go work inside. Marcus said he was off the street higher, but I think it was just because the 22.4 position. Yeah, it could be. It could be. And that position was so confusing. I'm glad they got rid of it. It was so confusing. It was almost like a position that was made up and not thought out, just kind of like thrown out there. And I mean, it was a great idea. Well, I think it was a good idea, but I don't think it was thought out too much. Then they had to kind of scrap it. So make sure you make your teas. Marcus Smith said, I think I would have worked inside, probably would have said F this. Yeah, it gets you ready, in my opinion, because like all of the crap that the people inside deal with, you pretty much deal with it as a driver. Outside of, you don't have that, those, people looking over you, even though they can look and see like how many stops you got left, but they're not like on you, like walking past you. And but you do get observed on a route too. So it's kind of like, but I think it gets you ready. I sort of like one question I have to, let's say you're a part timer and you go full time as a driver. Can you go back to being a part timer? I assume yes, but I'm unsure. Yeah, that's a great question. We had a driver that he wanted to scale back. He was a full timer. He wanted to scale back, and I mean, he decided that he didn't want to drive anymore, and so he wanted to scale back and go back and be a part timer. So he thought about it, thought about it, thought about it, and he stuck around. I mean, he still stuck around. He took a leave of absence, so he was gone for about 3 or 4 months. You didn't see him, and then so he came back to drive for maybe a couple of weeks. Then he resigned. So I'm not sure what happened with it. I'm not sure if they told him like, "Hey, look, you can't go back part time," which I don't see why not. But I just think that well, driving definitely wasn't for him. Like he figured that out. So I just think he wanted to go. But I think once he took that leave, I think he realized, you know what, I don't want to work inside either. And he ended up resigning. I mean, he was a decent driver. But yeah. So to answer your question, I don't know. I assume that you could. Yeah, you know what? I assume that you could. I don't. Mm, I'll try to get an answer to that. I know somebody who should know. The person that I think that, well, the first person I think should know, they probably don't know. But I have a second person that probably should know. So I'll find out that answer and I'll let you know. Yeah, I'll let you know. All right. So Christian said they told me it'd take 3 to 4 years to become a driver. You're 9 months in. Yeah, all of that is assumptions. It's an estimate. Like nothing's really concrete. Nobody could really say like how long exactly it will take because it's a lot of variables that's involved as far as, people retiring. Um, let's say you have routes leave the center and you have routes come to the center. Um, Natural attrition. People get fired. Sometimes they don't come back. For the most part they do, but sometimes they don't. People get hurt and they can't work anymore physically. And so it's a lot of factors involved. If volume gets heavy, Or they have to promote more drivers this year. Then the next year they don't promote as many. The following year they promote more. So it's kind of like it's just an estimate. You can't really like no one can really know. But you know, they say 3 or 4 years. I mean, it could be, but then again, it might be 2 years. You know. So I have a couple drivers in my center. They want to relocate. No, they want to go to like a different state. And so they may or may not be leaving. So they kind of weighing all their options and trying to see if they still want to move and but they still here. And so, you know, if they decide to move to a different state, I mean that's two full-time driver positions that, I'm not saying it'll open up, but it'll put more stress on the unassigned drivers we have right now. So, you know, it could move people up quicker. It kind of just depends. And when people retire, people typically don't retire. You have drivers go to feeders, stuff like that. It's so many variables. It's so many variables. Yeah, yeah. Your supervisor and the hourly told you. Yeah, I mean, that's a good estimate, but they don't really know. No, they don't really know. Like I would never tell anybody, oh yeah, it's gonna take. Oh, because it took me this long. It's not the same for everybody. And so, I mean, that's a good estimate. I mean, they estimating, you know. Shouts out to them, but they don't know. Respectfully. Yeah, Mike, yes, it's been a grind going on 2.5 years. Man, shouts out to you. Hey, hang in there. It is a grind. It is a grind. But to me, I mean, the grind feels good to me. I just like to work, you know. Um, Tomorrow's Friday. We going in there with a big smile. It's all good. Should have a good weekend this weekend. My son's going to prom tomorrow, so we're gonna have a little weekend vacation. Um, oh yeah, so I saw the light say part-time hours at full rate is a good gig. Man, look, we have a we have a lady in our building. Um, when I started driving, I think she was already on preload for like 12, 13 years. And so like now she has to be hitting on 25 years on preload as an hourly. And at that time, I think, well, the preloaders were getting paid 10.50 an hour at that time. And I think at that time, I think she was making 18 because she had been there for so long, you know? So I know now, I don't see her often, but I think now, man, she gotta be making close to 30, if not more than 30, working preload. That's crazy. But yeah, she probably making more than 30. But good worker, just really good at a job, didn't go anywhere, just kind of hanging out. Yep, yep, that's a good gig because they probably have another job, and you know, yeah. I mean, if you live below your means, you don't need full time hours. Let's say you're making 32 an hour, working preload, working 20 hours a week, you know, 25 hours a week, you might be good, live within your means. You got great benefits. You're not stressing. It's cool. Yep. Batman said, when you work inside, do you get to choose what you do or you go wherever they need bodies? Yeah, man. And once you assign to a sort, you pretty much there. If you start out in preload, you're gonna be on preload. I don't think they're gonna be generous enough to send you somewhere else unless they have way too many people. But like once you're on a sort, you pretty much on that sort or on that position, you pretty much there. Yeah. But in my experience, preload is always the highest demand because People don't like getting up early, you know? And when the weather's bad, or when it's like in the wintertime where we might get some ice and stuff like that, people don't want to get up at 2, 3 in the morning and drive on black ice, or possible black ice. People don't want to do that. So preload is kind of hard to keep people staffed, because they start early. When I first started, preload started at 1 o'clock. Like now in my business, I think it started at 3:30 or 4, but at 1 o'clock was crazy. At 1 o'clock was crazy. The ghostwriter said one of my soups is resigning from her job, taking all of her 401k for a food truck. Ooh. Oh man. Let me read that again. I don't know. I don't know if I read that right. I'm gonna try to read this again. I think I read it right. I'm gonna read this again. Let me see if it'll go up. Yeah, it doesn't look good. One of my supervisors, says ghostwriter, is resigning from her job, taking all of her 401k for a food truck. Man. Okay. So let me get this straight. She taking all her retirement out. She like, give me all my money. I'm going to start my food truck. Hmm. I'm not a financial advisor. Shouts out to Nick. What's up, Nick? I'm not a financial advisor. However, I mean, if you want to do a restaurant, I think the food truck is probably where you should start. I understand that, but I don't understand about taking out your 401k. But I mean, if you're resigning, you're gonna get hit with the penalties, and that's your retirement. Ouch. There's other ways, but I get it. But there's other ways. Man, I wonder who advised that, but yeah, that's tough. Best of luck to them. I hope she does well. I'm not sure if that's um, you know, because if it doesn't go well, then that's your retirement. So hopefully they don't have to come back and try to get rehired. But well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, if you a supervisor, if you're in management and then you resign, I mean, can you come back as an hourly? I'm not sure how that works. Maybe you can. Yeah, that food truck better be nice. All you gotta do, yeah, I mean, it's way better than, like trying to start like a brick and mortar. But yeah, food truck, you can, you're mobile. If you have good product, good customer service, the food good, should be fine. Get some good people to work for you. People with good attitudes. People wanna patronize you if you got a good attitude and you got a good product. Everything is clean. If she can hit all of those marks, she'll be fine. But man, talk about jumping off a bridge. And I'm not sure how old she. I don't know how old she is, but man, maybe the food is bomb. Hopefully, the food is bomb. Like the bomb squad without the second B. All right. Hey, shouts out to Nick. Christian said, I asked to work auxiliary and preload shift instead of loading. I've been working auxiliary since. Okay, on Saturdays only, I load package trucks. Well, at least they trying to accommodate the people. I mean, you know, shouts out to them. Shouts out to them. Nick, what happened? What the Bears do? What the Bears do? What they and who they pick? Hold on. The Bears do. So to answer your question on the title, y'all see the inundation of job postings, but is it safe? I think so. Outside of the seasonal jobs, and I get the question like, hey, if I do seasonal, are they gonna keep me? Probably not. There's a chance, but probably not. But all those permanent jobs, are they safe? I think they're pretty safe. Because like I always say, like they don't post unless they need. And like I said, one of the full-time managers or one of the managers in my building on preload is like, hey, we're full, but like the rest of the hub positions or the rest of the hub um operations, they're hiring. So I was told that today, and we have no postings in Texas. So I don't know how long they're gonna wait to post, but I'm gonna try to get my people in ASAP. So I'm already sending emails right now. So yeah. So like I said, these postings, they should be safe because they don't just post until they really, really need, and they probably post like a month after somebody, like, hey, look, we struggling over here. Like, okay, well, you'll see a posting in 6 weeks, So it's probably behind. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. What happened with the Bears, man? Let's see. All right, so we're gonna have to do the Wednesday is gonna be a dedicated day for jobs, and we'll sprinkle in other stuff too. But Wednesday's gonna have to be a dedicated day because it seems like when we said that about a month ago, we didn't really see a big difference on Wednesdays until this week. I put it up yesterday. I was like, damn, whew, man, somebody typing hard, putting these postings up. Seen that. I seen that. Um, yeah, that food better be good. Um, hey, are you gonna go visit the food truck? Was it a cool supervisor or one of the ones that, nobody really upset that they left? Or was they cool? It might make a difference. If people like you, they'll patronize you until they see that the food might not be good. But then again, it might be good. So Batman said, would it be worth it physically going to the hub and seeking a job old school style? Oh, you got shoes? You got the right shoes on? Let's go. Yeah, I don't know. It might be worth a shot depending on if they got security or not. Because if they got security, you might not be able to get in. But there's a lot of buildings, shouts out to Nick. Y'all don't have security over there. So you can just walk in. Our building, we have security. So like you can't even get to the little through the little turn thing unless you badge yourself in. But um yeah, Batman, did you apply for because they had it was some Texas posting. It was in a Dallas area. I don't know if you caught those or not. Not right now. This was like a few weeks when we covered it before. I remember there was like maybe one or two. It wasn't many. It's like one or two. I don't know if you caught those or not, but I'll be on the lookout for you. I'll be on the lookout for you. All right, Bomb Squad. So this weekend, the family and I we're going down to Galveston, and so we're gonna probably try to do a live on the beach. I don't know, depending on the Wi-Fi, we'll see what's happening. We'll see what's happening. But that's gonna be the attempt. We'll see. We'll see how the internet goes. Hopefully the Wi-Fi is excellent because I might need a discount if the Wi-Fi is not on point. You know, you know. Marcus Smith said I had a chance to move when they opened new facility and all the cool supervisors went there, but I stayed because I didn't want to be a cover driver. I mean, yeah, I mean that was probably a good decision because those cool supervisors, they can move them just like the bad ones. The good ones get moved too all the time. Um, but I have seen less movement in the past 2 3 years at my facility. A lot less movement outside of retirements. A lot less movement. Very steady. Um, but yeah, you did the right thing. You definitely did the right thing. UPS doesn't really interview. Nah, they don't interview. But them not interviewing, you get weeded out in training real quick. Real quick. We lost 3 people in our first day of driver training. We lost 3 people. We hadn't even got to any um like any material, nothing like that. It was just like they were just like giving a basic little information, and 3 people got weeded out just like that. That was so quick. That was really funny too. And yeah, they tell you to show up, you just show up. And once you show up, you pretty much got the job, but you might just weed yourself out after that. Just weed yourself out. Oh man, this guy showed up with some crazy shoes, man. I never forget that. I don't know what kind of shoes these were, man. And yeah, everybody kind of was wearing what they're supposed to wear. And he showed up with some crazy shoes, man. And it was like, hey, you can't wear those. It's like, but we're going to give you an opportunity. So the next day, man, he came back with some tennis shoes, man. It's like, yeah, yo, you need some boots, man. It's not gonna be the job for you because we kind of gave you a warning, gave you the opportunity to kind of correct it, and it's like I guess he didn't want it, but it's like that was. I'm like, man, you gonna do all of that? You gonna travel? And then we were in Dallas. Yep, we were in Dallas, and I'm in the Houston area, so um we were in Dallas for that. I don't know. Let's see where we at. Yeah, check online every day. But like I said, Wednesdays it seems to be the hot day. It's like hot. Okay, Batman, I got you. I got you. I got you. Yeah, the DFW area. So I recently had a supervisor I knew from my area. They moved to the DFW area, but it was short lived because they was only there like a few months, and now they got shipped over to Ohio. Yeah, so I had a connect there, but not anymore. But I will be on the lookout. And we just got a new HR person in my area, so I need to find out if they just for this area or they also over DFW. I can find out that as well. I can let you know. I can let you know. Have the people don't even show up for orientation. Yeah, man. People weed out themselves, man. People weed out themselves. Yo, if I was to take a picture of the people that showed up to orientation when I went for orientation, I was like, I mean, I respect the process. I get it. But man, if I showed y'all a picture and I'm not I'm not trying to shame people or make fun of people, but I was just like shaking my head. I'm like, is something wrong with me? But yeah, that orientation, man, that was like a 1/3 of us, man. Because what they did was it gave us a little intro, and this is orientation, guys. This wasn't even like training. This was orientation. They gave us a quick little welcome, this and that. We was in a room, and then they took us out in the heat, like the sun was beaming. Of course, they did it on purpose. I know, but it might have been a group of 20 of us once we made it out to the outdoors. And yo, it wasn't even 10 minutes. Man, you got 4 or 5 people just walked off like, oh no. And most people dressed in, nice slacks, long sleeve button up. People dressing, well, not everybody, but a lot of people dress like they go into an actual interview, even though it's not an interview. It's just, hey, just come over here and we'll tell you about the job. And you pretty much got the job as long as you stick around and stuff like that. And so, man, people just started walking off. Guy was sweating through his shirt. And I get it, but like if you can't just chill right here in this heat, yeah, it's not for you, big dog. And then for training, you get through all of that, we get to driver training, and man, people just falling off like flies. Dude can get his shoes right. This other guy didn't want to shave. Like, it was crazy. But people weed out themselves. Like I say, if you need, you know what? I done changed my numbers. If you need 3 drivers, you better bring in 20. I'm just saying. Okay, maybe not 3. If you need 8, you need to bring in 20. For sure. Yeah, you got to be built different. And you could not be built different and still work here, but it's going to hit you. It's going to hit you. I see crazy stuff every day. And I know my people in my group, like I know my people, and I still get those shake my head moments every day, pretty much. Batman said that's how it was at USPS. We had 5-star athletes quit in the first week of the job because it was too hard. This job ain't for the faint of heart. Man, yeah, and people, yeah, people weed out themselves. Natural attrition. Because in people's mind, like, humans are smart. I mean, not intelligent, but like most humans are smart. And so like they realize like, okay, man, this might be a challenge for me. But sometimes they'll stick it out just because like, people have hope as well. And so you might be thinking in the back of your mind, like, man, I've never done anything this hard before in my life, but I got it. You psych yourself up. I'm gonna just get through it. And some people make it through, but some people hit that wall and it gets to a point where, like, man, let me go ahead and excuse myself. But, it happens. But more props to everybody that actually tries, because if you're not trying in life, you're not doing anything, in my opinion. So I won't shame anybody for trying anything. That's how we learn. That's how we figure out who we are. That's how we figure out what we can do, what we can do, and how tough we are, and all of that. All right. So look, we'll be down in Galveston this weekend. Uh, we're gonna try to do a live on the beach. We'll see how it works. And thanks for tuning in, everybody. I appreciate all the support, and thank you for the likes. We appreciate it. The chat, man, y'all are the bomb. All right. Thanks for all the support. We'll see y'all in a few days. Bricked Out Media. We out of here.